Actions speak louder than words. I had somebody tell me for almost 15 years they loved me, all the while they were disrespecting me and not being faithful. Also, I was being lied to. I was being verbally abused and just put down. That's not love. Love doesn't hurt you. Love doesn't betray you. Love doesn't risk losing you. That's not love. Hi everyone, Janna here. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a great summer. What is it in a relationship for you that makes you feel like that person really means what they say? What is it that makes you feel like, okay, they really do care for me. They really do love me. I used to be words of affirmation. It used to just be like, I didn't need all the action stuff. It was more like I wanted to hear it, right? And notice I said that used to be me. So kind of crazy what happens when you go through something very, very painful, and especially in relationships, when you get betrayed, when your world turns upside down, you go through divorce, and it wasn't that alone. It was the fact that I chose to not be a victim. I chose to not become bitter and have an excuse to be shitty. I chose to overcome that. I chose to heal. I chose to learn, and therefore I gained wisdom. And that's what I'm going to share with you today is the wisdom I learned. After going through that entire marriage was 15 years, I was still words of affirmation. Well, he says he loves me. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the actions. Or how about I'm not going to talk about the actions. I'll talk about the actions he didn't do. You get what I'm saying? So words of affirmation don't mean shit to me today, and they never will again. You know why? Because I had someone tell me they loved me and, all these other things that made it seem like, oh, you know what? I guess, yeah, he really is. He really does love me. And all the while he was busy when he wasn't home, which he was never home. So, work meetings. And, I never thought I'd be able to even be in a relationship again after that. I didn't want to be. I just, for the first time ever, after going through the healing process and shattering my limiting beliefs, I really enjoyed being alone with myself and by myself and feeling my own energy. And I still do. In fact, I need that. And I know that about myself. I have to be alone because that's how I reflect. That's how I do what I do. That's how I wrote a book. That's just the way I work. But you really, really get to know yourself when you heal and you go through something really difficult, because it's not easy. It's easy to give up, but it's hard to just keep trudging through it and not knowing when is going to be that first day where I feel like I can breathe. When's going to be that first day I feel like I'm not going to drown in pain and sadness. When is it going to be the first day where I feel confident again and like myself? And well, hell, I don't even know who I am. That there's a really, really multifaceted process you go through in healing, and it's a roller coaster of emotions. You might wake up and feel like shit, and you might go to bed and feel like, hey, it's going to be okay. You just don't know, and you just have to ebb and flow, right? But I met my now husband, and at first he was just a client. I was his nutritionist, and we became friends, and there were some mutual friends, so he wasn't like a complete stranger. I'd never met him, but in other words, he knew people that I knew, right? Anyways, as we began this friendship, I mean, that's all I was ever thinking was friendship. I was not looking for a relationship at all. And when I started to get feelings, I didn't like it, and it scared me. And I was like, "What? This is too soon." And I was kind of like, "Oh, hey, God, you're a funny man, right? Like, I'm not ready for this." But that's just not his timing, right? When the relationship began, I had to do even more healing because I hadn't been in a relationship and never been in a healthy relationship at that point. So there was a learning curve. And I just didn't, I was I was super scared, not a little, I was super scared because I didn't know what was going to trigger me. Can I trust? Like, I was scared to death. I mean, I was put through the ringer with my ex of almost 15 years, my 3 kids. And, I don't care how much healing you do. It does. If you cut your arm right now and you have to go get stitches, it hurts for a long time. And then it's sensitive and sore underneath when you touch it. And then eventually you have a scar, but you always have that scar. You always have that reminder. So however you cut yourself, that scar reminds you of like, don't want that to happen again. Well, it's just like that with your heart. So my point that I'm getting at is I learned in my relationship with my now husband, I loved, when we fell in love and we said the words, it was great. But I quickly realized I literally, it was just like this euphoric feeling. And then boom, because my guard goes up, I got scared. I don't want to get hurt. All those things. And I'm trying to just go through it. Right. But it hit me hard. And I was like, okay, I need to always see it. He says all the right things. I think he means it, but I thought that for almost 15 years. My point is that's when I realized I was no longer words of affirmation. That's not my love language. 100%, I want action. Actions speak louder than words. I had somebody tell me for almost 15 years they loved me, all the while they were disrespecting me and not being faithful. Also, I was being lied to. I was being, verbally abused, and just, put down. That's not love. Love doesn't hurt you. Love doesn't betray you. Love doesn't risk losing you. That's not love. So I had to be honest with my now husband, and I had to tell him, like, I got to be honest with you because I told you, and I did. I told him in the beginning, like, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, and you got to be patient with me because, like, I'm scared shitless, and I'm not going to not tell you. So I told him, like, I love hearing it. Please, I really do. I love it. But I have to be honest with you. As I love it and I hear it inside, I'm thinking, well, we'll see if he does. And I'll know by his actions. Actions speak louder than words. It's easy, especially these days, especially amongst some women, where they go, I love you, love you. I think it's sweet, but I'm talking about the people that just say it after they just met you. You're an acquaintance. Come on. Love is a big fucking word, man. That's got some really deep meaning. It's love. You can't love someone you just fucking met. I tell my girlfriends I'm close with, my aunts, my sister, I'll say love you. I love and appreciate you, but you best believe I fucking mean it. That's a big word. But these days people throw out apologies and I love yous, and then they turn around and say, screw you and fuck you at the same time. So, if those are some of the worst and best words you can say to someone, and if you can just spit them out so easily, yeah, probably not going to believe it when you tell me you love me. So actions speak louder than words. Also, it's really, really important for men, and women also have to take initiative as well. But in a relationship, I think it's really important for a man to be the man in the relationship, to take initiative, to always court his woman. And look, this is just how it is. Some women, maybe you don't like it. Cool. But we're not supposed to be, the man of the relationship in the sense of, I know I don't want to be the one initiating everything or like having the ideas all the time, or like I have to be in such control in my day-to-day life all the time. And I'm a very powerful, strong, independent woman. I have a lot of masculine energy, and I know that. Therefore, my man, my partner, he's got to have a shit ton of masculine energy. Because if he doesn't have as much masculine energy as I do, I'm going to eat his ass up. Like, that's going to be a turnoff. Sorry, but if I feel like I'm manlier than you are, Let's just be friends, right? So, all the things that you did, hey guys, all the things you did in the beginning of the relationship that wooed your woman in, don't stop doing them. Clearly, it worked. People always say that's not what I fell in love with. Well, you fell in love with the person that they showed you. But you have to know in a relationship that there's a whole lot of other sides. We all show people a certain side of us in the beginning. And I don't necessarily believe it's like for most people, it's not that they're trying to be deceitful. It's more about like, you have nothing to argue with this person about. You just feel good. You feel a connection. You know there's something there. And you're just getting to know each other. But once you get entangled in each other's lives and friends and social settings, then that's when you really start to see how you mesh together. But people start to get too comfortable and they stop courting. Men stop courting their girls. I don't want to feel like a man in my relationship. I don't want to be the one, taking the lead in my relationship. I have a lot of masculine energy. Like, come on. So it's important to know that about yourself. And you know what? You can't get upset with your partner over anything that you haven't voiced. Nobody can read minds and vice versa. So, I'm a very honest person, super straightforward, as you probably know now. And, maybe sometimes too straightforward, but I tell you what, everyone knows where they stand with me and how I am. And, sometimes I think our significant other, sometimes they get the side of us nobody else does because we just feel comfortable with them. But we got to make sure that we're not just showing them that side of us that's just negative or complaining or just like the side no one sees. We got to make sure that we still try to show them the side that we really wanted them to see in the beginning of the relationship. So make sure that you continue to date. Make sure you continue to date each other. I know people get busy. I have 3 kids. I work my ass off all the time. So does my husband. But we make time for one another. And when we don't, like I can tell. Like if I don't get time alone with myself, I can tell. I get just really just kind of short fused. If my husband and I don't get a lot of alone time, quality alone time together, or we get to reconnect away from kids, away from friends, away from all of it, if we don't get that alone time, like I feel like there's just like something like we're just not, it's missing, right? It's like you need that time to reconnect, guys. You got to find it. Whether it's a one night, a dinner, I don't care, a lunch, make time for one another. Every little bit counts. Make your partner and your relationship a priority. I think when we start to get comfortable and complacent in relationships, we always just kind of put them on the back burner, or we just like, in other words, like they're safe, they're not going anywhere. I'll get to it, but I got to make all these other people happy. I got to do all these other things, and she'll be there. She'll understand. Well, how many times are you going to do that? I'll understand one time. Second time is probably going to irritate me. The third time, nope. Then it's just a habit. I don't want to be an afterthought. I don't want to be the one that has the idea of the date. I'm sorry. I know some women aren't that way. That's cool, but we're all different, right? And that's okay. I'm speaking for those men whose wives are like me and the women who are like me. I don't want to have to ask my husband on a date. Like sometimes maybe I will, but that's because he's good at that. But for the most part, I don't. And you know why? It doesn't make me feel near as fucking special. I don't feel special at all if it's my idea. Maybe that's weird or something wrong with that, but cool. I'm being honest with you. When my husband has an idea of how he wants to spend time with me and he initiates it, whether we're at the house, it's like, hey, you want to play a game? Hey, you want to play ping pong? You want to do this? You want to do that? Whether it's that and it's his idea, or it's to go have dinner, or just, do something just like out of the blue, it makes me feel special and loved. Because you know why? I know he was thinking of me. I know that him spending time with me was important to him and that he really wanted to and he looks forward to it. I don't get those feelings at all if it's my idea. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy the time with him, but I just know that we're doing that because that was my idea and I asked. So never stop dating. Make sure you put each other first in your relationship and never stop getting to know one another. All right, I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you all have a really great day.